Good afternoon. When kids do what they're supposed to do, then they get rewarded. So if a child does all the chores that they're supposed to do, they might get their allowance, or they get a treat, or maybe they get to stay out a little bit later, depending on how old they are. Whatever it is, they know that if they do what they're supposed to do, there's going to be some kind of reward. They're going to be able to benefit in some way from that. And that's not something that people grow out of. As adults get older, they know that if they do their responsibilities, they are going to be rewarded for that. Now, it may not always be in the way that they want to be rewarded. We don't always get the bump in salary or the extra vacation days. Sometimes we just get that pat on the back or that nod of approval. And we know that we crave those kinds of things. We really want to be blessed in those ways. Well, the Old Testament nation of Israel, they were God's chosen people. God had given them a long list of things that they were supposed to do. And one of those things was in the book of Exodus. They were given the plans on how to build the temple and the tabernacle that they were going to carry around for worship, and also all of the things that went along with that. All of the silverware that they needed, and all of the candles that they needed, and everything. They had specific instructions on how to make it all from God. And this is what it says at the end of Exodus chapter 39, verses 42 and 43. So the people of Israel did all the work according to everything that the Lord had commanded Moses. Moses inspected all the work, and he saw that they had done it exactly as the Lord had commanded. So Moses blessed them. They did the work as the Lord had commanded, and Moses blessed them. They received a benefit. They received a pat on the back. They received some kind of reward for doing what the Lord had commanded. And that was just in making all of the utensils and the clothing and the tabernacle itself. There were many more laws, many more rules that God had laid out and saying this is how He wanted people to live. And if they would live according to those laws, then they would be blessed in that as well. But none of it, nothing that was mentioned here, nothing that they had produced was going to be able to get them right with God. Blessings from God, sure, but not get them right with Him. The blessings only came because God had selected them as His chosen people. And so you have things that God has said for you to do and not to do. 10 Commandments, the law of God, His expectations of do this and don't do that. But doing those things is not going to get you right with God. It might get you a blessed life, but it's blessed not because of doing those things, but because God has chosen you to be His own. Because God has already done the work of saving you from your sins, of rescuing you from a life that is imperfect. And so you have that call from God to faith. And because of that, God blesses you. When you do what God commands you to do, what God expects you to do, you don't earn it. You're blessed with those blessings from God. Until we see each other again, the Lord's blessings on your day.